Shame, a show where the two of us talk about our list of movie blind spots, aka our list of shame. My name is Andy.
And Adam is my name.
Alrighty. And on Monday we talked about a musical from 1968 that I had never seen, you had never seen, but it's my week, and most importantly, I'd never seen it, called Oliver.
Yep.
And Adam decided to pair that with another movie about some singing and dancing orphans, and he's going to tell us all about it right now.
All right. 34 years later, this movie is based on the real life events of a bunch of newsboy sellers as they lead a strike in 1899 New York City in Newsies.
Hey, come on. Hey, come on. What, you're dreaming about selling papers? Hey.
Don't. What's the matter with you?
What's the matter with me?
What's the matter with you?
Hey, what's the matter with you?
You get off my back. All right,
Come on.
go away from me. You're mad.
Get up, boy. Come on.
All right, carry the banner, sell the papers.
Newsies is written by Bob Zudiker and Noni White and is directed by Kenny Ortega. Kenny Ortega is pretty famous for the High School Musical movies. He did, I think, all three of them or something like that. And he also directed a much beloved Disney movie, Hocus Pocus. No, you
I
don't know?
don't think I've ever seen Hocus Pocus, and I've definitely never seen any of the High School Musical movies.
I can't say I've watched the first High School Musical movie, and I've seen Hocus Pocus a few times, so I can't say that. Zudiker and White are known for writing some Disney animated and actually Fox Searchlight animated movies. They did The Lion King. They wrote The Lion King. They wrote Tarzan for Disney, and a movie we reviewed on the podcast for Fox. They did Anastasia.
Nice.
Which we both liked. The music of the Newsies. Oh wait, you didn't like
I didn't
Anastasia.
really like Anastasia.
Sorry. I remember different. I know you like Tangled, which made me
Yeah.
really happy.
I like that Anastasia is the old style animation, but I didn't really like it.
The music's by one of my favorite composers, Alan Menken and Jack Fieldman. Newsies stars Christian Bale as Jack Kelly, David Moscow as David Jacobs, Luke Edwards as Les Jacobs. We have Bill Pullman, not quite a president yet, as Brian Denton. Robert Duvall, not as Watson, but as Joseph Pulitzer. Marty, Belsky as Crutchy, and Ann-Margret as Maida Larkson. It's a movie that I haven't seen. Actually, Kirby was the one who honestly really recommended that we paired this with Oliver, and so I went with her recommendation. I don't know if she's seen it before. I think she has actually seen it before. I haven't seen it. I know you haven't seen it. Did you know anything about Newsies before you watched it, and what did you think about Newsies after watching it?
Yeah, I mean, I knew, kind of the basic outline of the story. I mean, I knew that it was about newsboys back in the late 1800s in New York that were going on strike, based on real life events, as you said. So, not that I'm a history buff, but I did, for some reason, know at least a little bit about that. This is a movie that I remember it coming out, but I was just not really
In the mood.
just didn't really interest me.
Yeah.
In seeing, and I know that my dad has this on DVD.
Oh.
Because I've almost watched it. Well, he
Did
kind
you
of
borrow from him to watch it this time around?
no, I watched it on Disney Plus.
Oh yeah, me too.
But he just buys stuff like in the bargain bin, so I think he just probably picked it up. He's probably never even watched it.
It's a music.
It's probably still in the plastic.
It's a musical. I mean, it seems on. It seems.
Yeah,
it seems like
I don't know.
on,
I mean, I feel like Oliver
brand.
he's seen, but I don't know about Newsies.
Yeah.
He might have seen it. I don't know, but I'd never seen it. I did know that this movie kind of flopped when it came out. I remember that. At least it not really making a big deal at the
one
box
of
office.
the lowest box office for live action Disney movie.
So I felt justified maybe in not seeing it. I was like, well, nobody else really liked it. What did I care about seeing it? So yeah, I mean, going into it, I didn't really have high or low expectations, and I honestly wasn't really thinking consciously about the fact that it was a flop. I feel like I tried to give it a fair shake. It's okay. I mean, I wasn't blown away by this movie. I don't think the songs are necessarily all that bad. I mean, I don't think they're in the same class as like Oliver, for example. But the thing that bugged me the most about the songs is that they all felt interchangeable. I honestly felt like all the songs were kind of the same. It's except for when Christian Bale is singing about Santa Fe by himself. The other songs I feel like are just the Newsboys kind of chanting and singing and doing cartwheels in the street, right? The movie, I feel like every song is like that. I think you do have a little tiny number from Ann-Margret.
Yes.
Like when she's doing her little Swedish thing on stage or whatever.
Yeah.
But I never thought that I would hear myself say this, but I don't feel like Ann-Margret is needed in this movie at all. Her character could be completely excised from this movie, and I don't think that you would lose anything. But the songs to me aren't that memorable, and I feel like they're basically all the same, except for the one that Christian Bale sings by himself. So I wasn't really blown away by the music. If you kind of like Gypsy, if you take the music and stuff away, I was interested in the story.
Yeah.
Like I was interested in the fact that, again, you know, because it's kind of cool that these kids in real life went on strike. They were like, hey, we don't want to pay, you know, these higher prices. Obviously, they take some liberties, you know, with the movie. It's not necessarily guaranteed to be 100% accurate. And I don't expect Robert Duvall to bust out singing. I feel like that would be kind of weird. But I just wish that they would have put a little more variety in the movie as far as the singing, you know, like Oliver, I guess, you know, something like that. Maybe a little bit more. I did read in the trivia for IMDb that the girl that plays, I think Sarah is the character's name, so it's Christian Bale's love interest.
Yeah.
She had a song, but they cut it out. And I wish that they would have kept stuff like that in because it breaks up the monotony kind of the other songs, which to me, again, are kind of all the same.
Rip Roaring.
Yeah, and again, I don't
songs.
think they're necessarily bad songs, but nothing really makes them stand apart from each other, honestly. So aside from the kind of music stuff, which I know this feels a musical, so that's kind of weird to say, but aside from the musical stuff, I actually found, you know, just the story interesting.
Yeah.
And, you know, Robert Duvall's fine. Bill Pullman's always great. So, you know, I don't have any problems with any of those guys. I, again, don't feel like the Ann-Margret is really needed in this movie, but I would say I liked the story. I don't really care about the music stuff, kind of like Gypsy. So I just kind of fall somewhere in the middle. I don't love this. I don't hate it. It's just kind of okay to me. If it had better songs and maybe more variety with the songs, I would like it better. Because I mean, I'm with you. Alan Menken's awesome, but this isn't maybe his best work, at least to me.
It's not.
So this is a movie that you've never seen also.
Yep.
So what were your thoughts on it?
I thought it was okay. Like I think it's like the okayest of okay. It just feels like milquetoast, you know, like it just feels kind of bland, and like I'm with you. I kind of expected not to like this movie. Expect this movie is gonna be bad, and it's not a bad movie. It's just kind of just bland, right?
Yeah.
And I do think the story's kind of interesting and very like prescient and pertinent for what's kind of going on nowadays. You know, with like we look at Amazon, what's going on with Amazon, and maybe what's going on with some other companies. Maybe I'm speaking a little too much on that point.
Coffee drinkers.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of interesting, and I find it that fascinating. But I'm with you. I really don't think much of the movie is very memorable to me at all, except for like the singing and dancing and stuff like that. And I feel like the numbers in the streets and stuff are a little bit bigger than they were with like Oliver. You know, you don't think so?
Oh, well,
with, like, the flips and stuff.
I don't know. I like the Oliver stuff better.
No, I'm not saying I'm not to take away from Oliver.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying like that's what the choreography I guess is for what stands out for me in Newsies more than anything else. Like I think Christian Bale's okay. You know, I think David's okay. The actors are okay. And, like everyone's doing a good job. It's okay. Nothing really stands out. The music's okay. You know, the choreography seems like a little high, a little nice. Although I think some people criticize, you know, well, I know Kirby's like Christian Bale's not a dancer kind of stuff while she was watching and stuff like that. So, I thought the movie was okay. I enjoyed it watching it. It's not something I'm ever gonna probably put on again or watch again, but it's not something I am upset that I spent that time watching. So for me, it's just kind of okay. It just didn't leave much of an impression on me at all after watching it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I know that I read that the movie flopped when it was released in theaters, but it has found an audience on home video and DVD and Blu-ray and whatever. And I think that's great. I mean, it's got its fans, it's got its own little kind of cult following. I know it was made into another musical, like a Broadway musical or something later on. So
in fact,
it still has some enduring popularity, and that's great. But I don't know. I agree with you. I mean, I don't think it's a movie that I'm going to be watching anytime soon. But this is not a awful film. I agree with you. I mean, it's just kind of milquetoast. It's middle of the road.
I was going to say there's a local theater company that's actually putting on Newsies in a couple weeks.
Are you going to go see it?
I know someone that's actually in the production, so maybe.
Oh, yeah, that'd be nice.
It might be interesting to see how that's done differently with adults playing different roles and stuff like that. So it's just okay. I wish this movie had something, a little something for me to sink my teeth into, but did not. Apparently, Christian Bale was ashamed of this movie and didn't tell any of his friends that it was a musical. And like you said, the movie was a critical and commercial flop upon its theatrical release, but it has gained a cult following since. Pretty much verbatim of what you just said, and it is a stage musical that's being put on here and there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else Disney came out. Beauty and the Beast came out the year before this, and I think Lion King came out a couple of years after.
Little Mermaid came out in '89. That was Alan Menken.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. I wonder why people didn't go see it. Like when it came. I mean, I didn't go see it just because I was like, whatever.
I just don't know what live action movies Disney's were doing at that point in time. Like we were beginning to start the Disney animation renaissance with all those kind of Disney musicals and stuff like that, and I guess they tried to make lightning happen with the live action musical, and just...
maybe people were like, Little Mermaid kicks ass, Beauty and the Beast kicks ass. I don't know about this live action stuff. I'm going to wait until they do another anime movie. And then they did Lion King and Aladdin. And actually, Aladdin came out the same year as this, 92, right? So I get, maybe everybody went and saw Aladdin and they were like, I only have money for one Disney movie.
And Aladdin is a huge hit.
Yeah, so maybe that's it. Everybody saw Aladdin multiple times. They didn't have enough money left over to see Newsies. And then they just saw it on DVD and became a fan. I don't know.
Yeah. So where the critics fall on Newsies?
39% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, but 88% audience score. So big disparity there. I did write down that it was nominated for 5 Razzie Awards, and it was nominated for Worst Picture at the, I didn't even know this was a thing, the 1992 Stinkers Bad Movie Awards. So take that for what it's worth. And if you're a Newsies fan, you probably want to punch somebody right now. Not me. I'm just the messenger. I'm just reading what I saw. Siskel actually, I watched the review of this, and or did I watch the review? I can't remember. I read it. Something he liked it when they weren't singing. Kind of like me, he liked the story more than kind of the music. So he actually gave it thumbs up. Roger Ebert gave it thumbs down, though. And Leonard Maltin, not quite a bomb, but 1.5 stars. Wow. So a half step up from a bomb for old Leonard. So, and
we said, we both watched this on Disney Plus. And is there any physical releases for this?
It had a 20th anniversary Blu-ray that came out way back 10 years ago now, back in 2012, the 20th anniversary, which means now it could have a 30th anniversary Blu-ray.
There it goes.
Let's get on that, Disney.
Chop. We need 4K. 4K Christian Bale singing okay songs.
Yeah. Well, we don't need 4K, but the Newsies fans need some 4K.
All right. Well, that was Newsies. On these Wednesday episodes, we like to answer viewers' questions, and we got one that we're pulling from our YouTube comments. We do read those. Most of you don't believe we do, but we do. And we had a viewer's question there, and it is, what are our favorite thriller movies? I will go on to say thriller is a huge category.
Yeah, it's difficult to nail down.
It's difficult to nail down
precisely what a thriller is.
Yeah, for sure. So I we've looked at a couple of lists. There's going to be movies that we missed, maybe that we like more than the ones we're going to mention, but that's just what happens. We're on the spot here. The clock is running, and we need to find a movie that is a thriller that we hold in high regards. And I did just that. Do you want to say anything, or do you just want to go just straight for the jugular for the movie?
Yeah. I mean, there's probably a couple on here that I could make some comments on. I mean, just like you said, that we're looking at some lists, that some random person put on the internet, and
Yeah.
so we don't necessarily agree with a lot. Like Jaws, I just consider Jaws straight up horror.
Yep,
I don't know
that
about
is.
thriller, and then some of these other, like there's like one Bond movie on this list. It's like, well, what about the other Bond movies?
Yeah.
Are they thrillers as well? But they put Goldfinger on here. Maybe they think it's the best Bond movie. So I don't know. I'm going to call out
I
one.
would say Man with the Golden Gun's more thrilling than Goldfinger.
I'm going to call out one that I we'll probably never do this on the show. Well, we might. I don't know. But I love this movie. It's a 1940s movie directed by, I believe, Fritz Lang. Doesn't say it on here, and I don't feel like clicking on it. I believe it's Fritz Lang. It's called The Woman in the Window with Edward G. Robinson. That movie's awesome. I don't know. I guess it's a thriller, but that's an awesome film. Does not get enough love, but it does have a Blu-ray release, so you can check it out, rent it, or Redbox it, or whatever you kids do these days. I don't know.
I was going through this list, and one movie really jumped out to me is probably because of when I watched it. And the time of my life I watched it, I became obsessed with the movie, and I became obsessed with the director. And it's a director everyone knows because he's gone on to have a huge career. And it's a movie by Christopher Nolan, and it stars Guy Pearce and Joe Pantoliano, and it's Memento. That movie was, I think, the first kind of like not straightforward movie that I watched at a time where I was really impressionable, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is what movies can be. And like it really just sucked me in, and like how the movie was told and how it unfolds. And Christopher Nolan has gone on maybe a little too much later in his career dealing with time and how time is portrayed in movies. But Memento at the time was so fresh and so interesting and so new to me that I really, really became obsessed with it. Like, we were talking about DVD releases, I think last episode, and that's also had a great like DVD release with like secret menus and stuff like that, and all this kind of stuff, and like the screen would change, and it was that time for DVD releases was amazing. Like the Fight Club DVD release, this movie's DVD release, any Fincher movie DVD release was awesome. The Nolan one was also very cool. So for me, the movie that jumped out to me immediately when I saw on the list is Memento. So that's the one I'm going to submit.
That stuff's also those old DVD menus that had Easter eggs and fun things up there, and the packaging was very elaborate and deluxe. That stuff is so cool. You don't get that as much nowadays, even though there's still obviously physical Blu-rays, but we stream so much content now. You miss all that stuff, and it's a shame because that stuff is really, really cool. All right, so looking at this list, there's a lot of Hitchcock on here, so that's cool. And obviously, he is a master of suspense. So I definitely would classify his films, most of them, as thrillers, except for things like Marnie and stuff like that, and stuff that's not really a thriller. But there's two movies that are on this list that I'm gonna say fit into the thriller category. I love them both. It's hard to say which one I love the most, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make a choice. The two movies are French Connection. Action movie, thriller, whatever you want to call it. So forget that one. The one I'm going to pick is a movie that we actually did for October. Not last year, but the year before. A movie that I love, that I expounded on for like 30 minutes. It's Don't Look Now with Donald Sutherland and Julie Christie, where their daughter drowns and then they go to Venice and they keep seeing some weird little girl running around in a red plastic Mac. Is it their daughter? Don't know. Well, if you watch that episode or if you've seen the movie, you know what the answer to that is. But I love Don't Look Now, obviously, as I gushed over it in the episode that we did. We reviewed Don't Look Now, so I'm going to choose that one as my number one thriller of all time. I've seen that movie tons of times.
Do you have a bunch of copies of that movie?
I have a bunch of copies of that movie. I've got it in DVD, Blu-ray, 4K. I don't have a VHS of it, but
yet.
Yeah, no, I'm not a VHS collector, so I'm not gonna get that. If someone were to give me a VHS copy of it, I would take it.
Yeah.
But
RealShame@gmail.com.
All right.
We'll give you a shipping address.
Don't look now. That's
All right, guys. I think that's a great movie. I wasn't as favorable on the movie, but I do agree that you like that movie a whole lot, and it's a good thriller. I think you should check it out. Watch the part of the review, and if it sounds interesting, check it out. It's worth.
Yeah, and watch it all if you haven't seen it because we definitely spoil things. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Well, that's our favorite thriller. Thank you for submitting that viewers' questions. I don't ask it all the time, but we need more viewers' questions, so please send them along. We really do appreciate that. Let us know what your favorite thriller is down below. There are many that we missed. There are probably ones that we like more, and we are interested to see where you guys fall. So let us know. Please like, subscribe, share, do all that social media stuff. Stay tuned next week as we watch some movies from my list of shame and some movies that are for the upcoming holiday. And we'll see you soon, guys. Have a good one. Bye.